One of the things that I'm looking so forward to this year is that the Dallas Cowboy fans are not going to be able to make excuses for Dak Prescott. After this year, they're going to have to accept the fact that reality is Jalen Hurts is the better quarterback.
Dallas still stinks.
Yo, by the way, King Ding back here. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. So I call this year the year of the reckoning, right? Cowboy fans, no patang, patang, patang. It's the reckoning, man. It's the reckoning because Dak Prescott's reckoning is coming. No more excuses after this year. No more excuses for Dak Prescott. The Cowboy fans will have to admit openly that Jalen Hurts is the better quarterback, one of the best in the league. And we're going to get into it in a second. But before we do that, if you're new to the channel, you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, the most throttled, pause, Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, thank you so much for the support you give to me. And if you couldn't, I would just ask you, please double check, double moonwalk check. Make sure you're still subscribed and everything. I've had about 8 or 9 people this week tell me that they've been unsubscribed. They don't know why. So if you could just double check, that'd be great. We got training camp coming in a few weeks. It is going to be a madhouse on this channel. It is going to be busy. So you're not going to want to miss anything. Now, first thing I got to say is this. Happy belated birthday to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles turned 90 years old yesterday, and I'm still waiting. Where's the Kelly Green? You know, there was a lot of rumors and reports that it was going to be this week. It was going to be for their birthday and their anniversary, and it's not. We haven't heard anything. I believe Tuesday is going to be the day. That's my prediction. I think Tuesday is the day that we'll find out, and we'll get to see the Kelly Green jerseys revealed. So look out for that. But happy birthday to the Eagles, 90 years old. Only, 3,970 years younger than Jerry Jones. So it's pretty crazy. Here's what I got to say before I get into what I'm going to talk about. I don't know if you guys have saw this, but it looks like Malik Willis could get cut. He could actually get cut by the Tennessee Titans this summer. That would be crazy. Dov Kleiman wrote this. Update, Pound Titans quarterback Malik Willis has, quote, outperformed rookie Will Levis this offseason, but Willis still could get cut per the team reporter. Malik's roster spot isn't guaranteed, even with the new rule. He threw 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions last year. If Willis gets cut, I think the Eagles need to jump on that quick, fast. Like, jump all over that. Get Malik Willis in there, in my opinion, because here's a guy that could come in, be your third quarterback for a few years, and you can totally just develop this guy. He has tremendous talent. And if he was able to go to a team where they took a couple steps back, didn't rush him on the field, and just developed him, I think that you probably could trade him, maybe get yourself like a second-round pick or something like that. It would be awesome. If he becomes available, this is the total Howie Roseman type move. Something I could totally see Howie Roseman doing. And remember, you only got Mariota for 1 more year. But if you could develop Willis and then maybe trade him, think of A.J. Feely when the Eagles got a second-round pick for sending him to Miami. You never know. But I hope the Eagles would do that, man. That would be great. That would be awesome. Also, let me apologize real quick. If I sound like my voice is hoarse, I was outside working in the yard. And I don't know, for whatever reason, when I came in, it started doing this. Probably allergies or something, but I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about my voice, my stupid voice. I sound like the white Mike Tyson usually. So now I sound like a hoarse white Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. Now, so I was on Twitter, and as many of you guys know, I don't go on Twitter. Now, I'm not the biggest Twitter guy in terms of like posting things and stuff. I do things for my channel, but that's about it. But every once in a while, I see a tweet that I have to respond to, that I have to say something to, right? And shout out to Boss Cowboys Sports. He had a tweet. I'm like, oh, I got to respond to this, right? And shout out to him. I have nothing but high respect for him. I think he does a great job with what he does for the Cowboys, and nothing but respect. But I didn't agree with what he was saying here, right? This is what he posted, and this is why I had a comment on it. He said, Dak is better, more mobile, more accurate, tougher version of Warren Moon, and on pace for a Hall of Fame career. Now, I had to respond. I had to respond because when it comes to Warren Moon, in my opinion, is one of the best, purest passing quarterbacks that I've ever seen. I actually think he's underrated. And he is one of those guys that you point out to and say, yes, Super Bowls do matter, winning does matter, but it can't be the only thing. You point, when you make that argument, you point to a guy like Warren Moon or Dan Marino. Dan Marino, fastest release I've ever seen. Probably the best arm I've ever seen. But he has no Super Bowls. Sometimes it's not all about the Super Bowls. It is a lot, and it has a lot to do with it mostly. But there are exceptions. Warren Moon is one of those exceptions, okay? Dak Prescott is nothing like Warren Moon. Nothing, right? So I had to respond, to that post. And I said, Warren Moon's one of the best passers I've ever seen. I don't see it at all, The only thing that you can compare Warren Moon and Dak Prescott, in my opinion, is this. Dak Prescott, Warren Moon can't win in the playoffs. They haven't been able to win the playoffs. But Warren Moon is a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's a better quarterback. Now, that post kind of got me to thinking, well, who does Dak Prescott remind me of then? And who's he similar to? And who is Jalen Hurts, for that matter, similar to? And I started thinking about it, right? And it's definitely not Warren Moon. Warren Moon is on another stratosphere as far as I'm concerned. But I started thinking about Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts, and the first name that came to my mind when thinking about Dak Prescott was Donovan McNabb. And it just hit me. It was like, oh my gosh, he is a clone of Donovan McNabb. I think McNabb had a better arm. I think McNabb, he won more than Dak Prescott. I think he's better at this point of Dak Prescott's career. Where McNabb was at that point, I think McNabb was better. Now, as far as Hall of Famer goes for McNabb, do I view McNabb as a Hall of Famer? I think he's on the edge. I would say no. At this point, probably not. I think he's right out there on the edge. I'm just being honest. He could make it someday. I hope he does. But if I was to make a choice, I wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame. I just wouldn't. I think Dak Prescott is very similar to him. That's the perfect guy. I think he's not as talented as Donovan McNabb. However, he also was a 4th-round pick, not the 2nd overall pick. So in some ways, there's less pressure. Here's the other thing. When a lot of times when we talk about guys, comparing guys to former guys in the past, like, for example, the Warren Moon, Dak Prescott, right? You're talking about different eras. Back in the days, they didn't pass the ball nearly as much in football. Now the Oilers did, because they led that run and shoot, but it couldn't win in the playoffs. And the game wasn't really favoring the offense as it does now. Okay, I often think of it like this: if I took Dak Prescott and I put him in the past, and I put him on the Oilers, would he put up the same numbers that Warren Moon did? And I say to myself, no, I don't think Dak would. But if you took Warren Moon and you put him in today's football, Warren Moon would be even better than he was back then. So I don't think he's like Warren Moon. Donovan, yeah, I think he's similar to Donovan, but here's a few things also. Donovan never had the weapons that Dak Prescott had. Dak Prescott, first stretch, had pretty good weapons. He had Amari Cooper, Cedric Wilson. He had some good weapons. Really, McNabb, it was up to like 2004 before he got any help at the receiving position with Terrell Owens. It was till 2004. So McNabb never had the weapons, okay? McNabb, he came, it was still a different era. And to me, yeah, McNabb, I would say, is better than Dak Prescott. But from a physical standpoint, when I watch Dak Prescott on the field, he reminds me of Donovan McNabb. He definitely reminds me of Donovan McNabb. Now, as far as Jalen Hurts goes, Jalen Hurts reminds me of one guy, and that guy's still playing. It's Russell Wilson. Jalen Hurts reminds me of Russell Wilson, except for I think Jalen Hurts is a bigger, stronger version of Russell Wilson. If you remember early when Russell Wilson came to the Seattle Seahawks, he really should have won 2 Super Bowls. If they run Marshawn Lynch, he goes in, he has 2 Super Bowls. But early in his career, Russell Wilson ran a lot. He ran a lot more, and as he became a better passer, he started throwing more and more and more. I think that's what you're going to see from Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, to me, is a bigger, faster, stronger Russell Wilson. He's a stronger Russell Wilson. And I do think Russell Wilson is probably a Hall of Famer, whereas Donovan McNabb isn't, right? Donovan McNabb, let me just throw up some of these statistics, right? Donovan McNabb, he threw for 37,000 yards, 234 touchdowns, and 117 interceptions, right? And it is a different era, so you have to take that and keep that in mind. Russell Wilson, he's still playing. He's already thrown for 40,583 yards, 308 touchdowns. That's pretty good. Then you get Warren Moon, right? And it's like he threw for 49,000 yards, 291 touchdowns, 233 interceptions. He threw a lot of interceptions. There's no question. He could be a turnover machine, especially in the playoffs, and that's always been the knock on Moon and Dan Marino is you can't win the big playoff game. But I think Jalen Hurts is a spitting image of Russell Wilson, except I think he's a little bigger, he's a little stronger, a little faster, and I expect the trajectory in terms of his career to be even better, because I think Jalen Hurts has a lot more weapons than Russell Wilson did early in his career. Okay, Russell Wilson, man, he had that great defense in front of, to help him on the other side. That meant a lot. If you look at Donovan McNabb, he had no weapons, he had a good defense, right? The lessons that the Eagles learned from Donovan McNabb era is being applied to Jalen Hurts now. Howie Roseman was with the Eagles organization when they never went out and got Donovan McNabb weapons. They know that now. That's why you see so many weapons for Jalen Hurts. But I think that this year is going to be it's going to be the year of reckoning, because if Dallas, look at my beautiful hair, huh? Look at it. But if Dallas goes into the playoffs again, loses in the first round, I don't see how they're not going to be able to point the finger at their quarterback. I mean, at what point do you do that? You got to do it. So I think this is the final year. I see him, and I see the trajectory of his career like Donovan McNabb. Can't win the big playoff games, and, kind of just always there. Except for Dak Prescott has had more weapons, and I think Donovan McNabb was a little bit better. Jalen Hurts, he was at the Super Bowl, could have won it, and I think the Eagles go back and they're going to get it done. So, yes, when I think of these two quarterbacks, I think this is the year that Dak Prescott is going to have to face reality. And I think Jalen Hurts reminds me a lot of Russell Wilson. That's why he's the best quarterback in the division. Just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. Look at this workout routine. Look at the form, the way the head tilts back with the lips and mouth somewhat open to suck in as much oxygen as he can. This is a guy who works out hard. This is my nap time coordinator, Michael Anthony. Where's the fitness? He is sleeping. He is dreaming of God knows what. Probably running away from his daddy. But who the hell knows? Michael Anthony, where's the fitness? Another beautiful nap.